Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Ginny with the Daily Word. Thanks so much for starting your morning off here with me today. I wanted to talk a little bit this morning about a prayer practice or a reflection practice that you may have encountered before, but if not, this season might be a really good time for you to start it. It might be something you find useful in your days. It's called the Examen, E-X-A-M-E-N. You may notice that's really close to the English word examine, like to look closely at something, and that's basically the idea of what this practice is. It's associated with St. Ignatius of Loyola, but there are many people who, throughout the years, as this practice has been handed down, they've kind of put their own spin on it, they've created little variations of it. But the basic idea is that you take a little bit of time at the end of your day to reflect back on what has happened, how you responded to it, how you encountered God or maybe didn't during all of those events. And so, like I said, it's meant to be a thing you do at night, but for some of you that may be harder than others. So it's also something you could do, if you have kids who nap, you could take a little bit of time, like 5 minutes during their nap time to do this. If you have a moment that you could grab for yourself at lunch, you could do it then. I think you can find a time in your day that works for you. The reason it works well at night is because the idea is that you just take a moment to sit. You become aware of the presence of God around you, the presence of God within you, and you just sort of think back through the events of your day. How was your day shaped? Like, what were the high points and the low points and the in-between points? What were the events that took place during the day? How did you respond to those events, whether with action or with words or just internally? What kind of things, what kind of feelings, what kind of thoughts or words did those events evoke in you? And the idea is, after you've kind of looked at all those things and just noted them, if it's helpful to you, you might write them down. Y'all know me by now. I'm a person who likes to write things down, but maybe you just think through and hold them in your mind. But you pick one of those events and the reaction that it evoked in you, and you let that one thing lead you into some moments of prayer. So it might be that the thing that's leading you into prayer one day is a joyful event, a joyful response, or one of thanksgiving, one of gratitude. Other days it might be something that caused you anger, something that brought up fear or frustration in some way. But the idea is that all of these are things that can lead us into prayer, lead us into conversation, lead us into communion with God. There's not one particular way that we have to be feeling to enter into that focused time of communion with God. Now, like I said, people have taken this practice, and if you do just a quick Google of the Examen, you can find all sorts of variations that have some guiding questions. Rather than just looking at the events of your day, they might have some questions to help lead you into that, and that might be helpful for you. Sometimes, certain days I find that more helpful than others. One person that I really love who's done that is John O'Donohue, and he has this great list of questions that I can post down below after this, but they include things like, what did I learn today? What new thoughts visited me? How were my conversations? What did I begin today that might endure? With whom did I feel most myself? What did I do today for the poor and the excluded? He has a lot of questions, and my favorite is the last one. From the evidence, why was I given this day? I think that's really the whole idea of the Examen, and why it's so helpful for us in this time. Like I said, I've heard so many people say throughout these weeks, like, we make all these jokes about not knowing what day of the week it is because every day feels the same. But the reality is we're still being given the gift of every single day, even if they seem to blur together for us. The reality is they're different. We wake up every morning and we go throughout our day and we go to bed each night, and that time that we have been given, no matter what it holds, that time is a gift from God. And so this is a practice that just helps us mark those days. It helps us give thanks, reflect on what has happened, and it helps us to note the differences, to note how we're growing, to note how we're paying attention to God moving around us, God moving within us. So again, I hope that this might be a helpful practice for you. All of these ways of spending devotional time, these ways of praying, they're just tools. You may find some really work for you and others don't, but I hope that for some of you this is a tool that you can use during this time especially to lead you into deeper fellowship and deeper communion with God. Thanks so much.